Shalom Aleichem. It is a pleasure, as usual, to meet again. Be'ezrat Hashem, tonight we will continue the growing and process and journey that we have started, and we'll discuss another step in the growth that needs to happen, that is happening inside of us, especially during these times. Until now, we have discussed the importance, as a recap, so that we know where we stand, of the social surrounding. We have discussed the importance of being pure, of being in touch with our senses. We have discussed the importance of giving the proper attention to the beloved ones. We have given the importance and the guidance of the impact, looking at someone, focusing on something, listening properly to someone. We also, in our last shiur, discussed the importance of education, the importance of sharing properly, not retaining, not faking, not using the position that we have, the power that we have with selfishness in order to benefit, but instead share properly in order to elevate and empower. Tonight, I would like to take it to the next level. After we've learned all this, there is another element that we need to add to the ingredient that we'll see from the Haggadah itself, that we're going to be reading Wednesday night. And we will learn at the end of today's shiur, I hope, the immense and amazing responsibility that was granted to us when we came to this world, and the impact we can really have on people. So after we've gathered all these tools and this ability to connect to people, to understand people, we need to start seeing the light in the darkness. Rabbeinu Yonah, a great Chacham rabbi, about 700 years ago, wrote that the only reason darkness was created was in order to appreciate light. It's only through that contrast that we can really appreciate the beauty and the power of the light. From this message, we understand that in every darkness, there is a stream of light. This concept, we learn it inside the Haggadah in different places. And we're going to go one by one. That will enhance also your Seder night. When you will read the Haggadah, you will be able to relate to this point. We all know that part of the steps of the Haggadah is Yachatz. Yachatz means we take the middle matzah, right, that's sitting in between the upper and lower matzah, and we crack it in half. Or one bigger portion, one smaller portion. We keep the smaller portion in between the two matzot that are complete, and the broken piece, we put it aside. It's the piece that we call the Afi Command, the piece that we will be eating at the end of the meal. And here, there is something very puzzling. We take a matzah, we cut it in half, the small piece we keep, the bigger piece we leave until the end. What does that represent? Well, my friends, it's the following, it's beautiful. We take the matzah, we take the one that you cannot see, the one that's sitting really hidden. And we keep the small piece, we cut it in half, so that one entity really becomes two pieces of one big entity. The smaller one that we eat at the beginning of the Seudah, at the beginning of the meal, when everybody's hungry, when everybody's expecting to eat the matzah for the first time, we eat a little piece. It represents lechem oni, the bread of the poor, the one that doesn't have a complete loaf of bread, that starts and eats what he has, that little piece, on an empty stomach, from a point of hunger. It represents the darkness. It represents the difficulty. But from that same matzah, the Haggadah comes and teaches us. Once you will go through the whole Haggadah, you will read it, then you will eat a beautiful meal, a magnificent meal, a rich meal. Then you can eat from the same matzah. And you realize that whatever darkness you tasted or you thought you had in the beginning ended up being a piece of the puzzle of a much bigger portion of light with a much better outcome than you could ever imagine. The Afi Command, the bread, the matzah that you eat when you're full, the matzah that you eat when you're satisfied. Comes the Haggadah with the Yachatz to teach us how to approach challenging moments. This is only a bit of darkness, as dark as it looks and as poor as it seems. In the bigger picture, it's just a small element to come and give us the ability to then get satisfaction, that it will be amplified and will be bringing satisfaction in our life. That same concept, we also see it in a pasuk that we will read in the Haggadah. Va'omar lach bedamayich chayi. I tell you that from your blood you will live. What does that mean? A pasuk that we will read. The Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer says the following. He says that usually blood represents sad things, represents death. But says Hashem, God comes and tells us, do never stop and freeze from your first reaction or first encounter with a moment that is difficult, with a difficulty, with a problem. Don't stop and judge the blood for what it is or what it seems it represents. Because from that blood will come life. From that blood will come redemption. And where do we see this? We see the blood of life through the Brit Milah. But that blood also represents life when we will take the blood and put it in the mezuzot in Egypt. This same blood is what will protect the houses of Bnei Israel and will not let the angel of death penetrate and enter these homes. The angel will pass by. Another tremendous message. When you see darkness, do not stop at that moment. Do not stop at that moment. Do not freeze. Break through those limits, this illusion, and try to understand the deeper meaning. If you can't right away, then you have to have patience. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust Hashem. You have to trust the situation. And slowly, you will unveil and reveal the light that should come out and that will come out from such a situation. How do we do that? How do we build ourselves? How do we really put all the chances on our side to be able to be successful in this approach of a situation? It's also written, it's also hidden in the Haggadah. We will see in the Haggadah that when we come and discuss the exile of Egypt, Yetziat Mitzrayim. We start and we spoke about the Haggadah will bring some pesukim from the book of Devarim. Tze ulman ma bikesh Lavan ha'arami. Right. And then we enter all the pesukim that speak about Yetziat Mitzrayim from the book of Devarim, from the parasha of Bikurim. The parasha of Bikurim is the portion of the Torah that explains how we bring offerings from the first fruits that blossom, that rib, that were good, to the Bet HaMikdash to be thankful to Hashem. And the obvious question is, why wouldn't the Haggadah bring the Pesukim from the book of Shemot, the book that only focuses on the Exodus, only focuses on Yetziat Mitzrayim? Why go to Devarim? The answer is the following, is that in the book of Devarim, the concept of Yetziat Mitzrayim, of the exile of Egypt, is focused not only on the exile, but also on the appreciation that a person has to have, knowing that there was an exile. If we look at the parasha of the Bikurim, at the parasha of this offering of the first fruits to the Bet HaMikdash, to the temple, we will count that there is 6 times the word Venatan, and he gave you. 6 times we address the good, the love, the care, the abundance that God gave us. And you will be happy, you will enjoy, you will be satisfied from all the good that God has blessed you with. 6 times. For what reason? Just so that we can counter. They gave us a hard work. The Egyptians gave us a hard time. So God comes and says, I will give you 6 times more of good. The message is that when someone focuses on his blessing, counts his blessing, looks at everything that he has around him, health, peace of mind, family, a home, food, clothing, friends, communication, a phone, anything, everything that we have, shoes, the fact like I posted yesterday, the fact that we can breathe and it's free, the fact that we have access to food, the fact that we have toilet paper, the fact that we have water, the fact that we have juice, the fact that we have meat, the fact that we have matzot, the fact that we have wine, that we have grape juice, the fact that we can have access to so much, the fact we can think, the fact that we have hair, the fact that we can see, the fact that we have hands, we can touch, we can walk. Says the Baal HaGadah in these Pesukim, in those verses that he chose. If you want to be able to understand, to see in the yachatz, to see in the portion, the small portion of the bread that's in front of you, the Afi Command, the light, if you want to see the end result, learn to appreciate, learn to say thank you all the time for the little things. Venatan lecha v'samachta, then you should be happy. Don't take for granted. Don't think you deserve. Don't expect. Appreciate. Thank. Love. Too many people complain. Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? How come this didn't happen? How come this happened? How come this one has it and I don't have it? How come I don't have this? Come on. Why don't we ask? How come I have everything that I do have? How come Hashem gave me everything that I do have? How many people begging to get married? How many people begging to be healthy? How many people begging to have children? How many people begging to have parnasa, to have children around their table? We cannot take anything for granted. People have certain things, others have other things. But if you're able to appreciate, to be overwhelmed from the happiness, from the love, from the appreciation, that for everything that you were blessed with, then you have the tools to see the light in darkness all the time. Then no matter what happens, no matter how hard the situation is, you have the ammunition to shade away the darkness and focus and zoom in even on the slimmest stream of light and turn it into a powerhouse of warmth and of hope. This was Rabbi Akiva. We know that Rabbi Akiva was a very optimistic man, was a man that always saw the good. At the end of the tractate of Makot, of the Gemara of Makot, the Gemara brings a story of Rabbi Akiva, the Haverav, and his friends that were walking the ruins of Jerusalem after the destruction of the temple. And they see this horrifying scene, a fox coming out of the Bet HaMikdash, an impure animal coming out from the holiest of holy. So all the rabbis started crying. How can this be? How can such a holy place become so impure? And while they were crying, Rabbi Akiva was laughing. So they turn to Rabbi Akiva and they tell Rabbi Akiva, I don't understand you. How can you laugh in such moments? Rabbi Akiva answers, if this prophecy happened to be true, then I know that the prophecy that Mashiach will come, that the Bet HaMikdash will be rebuilt, will also come true. And that's why I laugh. And that's why I'm happy. This is now certainty to me that Mashiach will come, that will be redeemed. So the great rabbis looked at Rabbi Akiva and told him, Akiva, nechamtanu, Akiva, nechamtanu, Akiva, you appeased us. You made us feel comfortable. This same Rabbi Akiva, this same light is the light that gave the hope at the time where the Romans were looking for all the leaders of the Jewish people of Am Yisrael, a pogrom to try to kill them, to make sure that no Torah, that no teaching, that no morality should be taught amongst the Jewish people. So all the rabbis, the teachers, Maaseh Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Tafon, all those great rabbis, they all went where? To Bnei Barak. And they all stayed together in the middle of the night to talk about the Yetziat Mitzrayim, the exile of Egypt, until dawn came and their students came to them and said, now is the time to say Shema Yisrael. The Haggadah comes and teaches us something amazing. There's a very, very big question we have to ask. Who did all these rabbis gather by? They gathered by Rabbi Akiva. He was the one that lived in Bnei Barak. But the question is, Rabbi Akiva was a student, and these rabbis were his teachers. So how can it be that the teachers go to the student? It should be the student that goes to the teacher. The answer is that in moment of darkness, it doesn't matter if you're a student, it doesn't matter if you're a teacher. What matters is that you can see the light in darkness, that you can see hope, the hope that others cannot see. All the rabbis, all the chachamim, All the great leaders left their home, left their yeshivot, and went to Rabbi Akiva, the small Rabbi Akiva, the student, because he had the key to the hope, to the optimism. He had the key to the redemption. This comes to teach us that if you want the dawn to come, if you want to have a next generation continuing what you're doing, the one that will come and tell you it's time to say Shema, you need to gravitate around the light. You need to choose optimism. You need to choose life. You cannot let go. You cannot drown in the darkness. This is a powerful message. This same Rabbi Akiva, that when he was being peeled alive, the Romans cut his skin, the Romans were peeling his skin alive. He screamed, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And he says, Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha. You have to love Hashem from all your essence. From all your essence, said Rabbi Akiva, now I'm ready to go. Because I saw the love of Hashem in the moment that is the most painful. Rabbi Akiva can attain such a high levels. You know why? Because in his eyes, there was only the good. There was only the light. There was only positivity. Rabbi Akiva. And this same Rabbi Akiva, says the Ben Ishchai, at the moment that he said Shema, at the moment that he says Bechol levavecha, Bechol nafshecha, Bechol me'odecha, he was able to atone and alleviate the responsibility of the entire Klal Yisrael to accomplish this mitzvah of Bechol me'odecha. From all your essence. Do you know what that means to love Hashem from all your essence? It means Rabbi Akiva bleeding, being under tremendous torture and focusing on Hashem and say, Hashem, I love you. Hashem, thank you. But while I'm saying thank you, I'm taking with me the thank you of all Am Yisrael that cannot say that same deep, intense thank you I'm saying now. The Haggadah comes and teaches us how to become Rabbi Akiva ourselves, to be those amazing leaders, to be a leader that sees the good, that carries the people, that carries the burden of the people, and that turns darkness into light, that turns depression into simcha, into happiness, confusion into hope, distress into passion. This is what is expected from us on the night of Pesach. This is why, Rabotai, we have a Seder. This is why we have a leader of the Seder. In the Halacha, it's enough that only the Baal HaSeder makes a Seder that everybody listens. Obviously, everybody has to eat the matzah. Everybody has to drink the 4 cups. But if there's only 3 matzot for the Baal HaSeder, it's enough. We tend to make sure that everybody has all the matzot necessary. Baruch Hashem, we have everything today. But there has to be at every table a leader. A leader with people that he can enhance, that he can empower, that he can uplift, and turn themselves into leaders. This is why we have the 4 boys. This is why we want to make sure that we have the Rasha at our table also. What do we tell the Rasha? Even the Rasha, we don't lose hope. Emor lo, we say. Tell him. Why the Haggadah has to say tell him? It shouldn't be on in the third Lashon. It should be him, you. The same way we talk to the Chacham, we say you. We talk to the Tam, we say you. We talk to the Sheino Lechra, we say you. Why the Rasha, we say him? Because the one that has no turnaround is not you, the Rasha. It's another Rasha. You only see the good that's in you. There's a Rasha, but there's a Rasha that can become good. There's a wicked that can turn around. The fact that you have him sitting at your table, the fact that you acknowledge that he's with you, the fact that you acknowledges that he can change, says the Baal HaGadah, will make this Rasha change. And eventually that Rasha will turn out to be a Chacham. This is the power of a leader. This is what a leader is expected. This is what is expected from a leader, from each and every one of us. To see the good, to focus on the good, to empower and enhance and extrapolate the good, to bring that little good, that little tiny good to the light, to the sunshine. And this only through an overwhelming feeling of appreciation for every bit, every little thing that we're blessed with. Kol haneshama tehalelka. All the soul praises God. Say the Chachamim, the rabbis tell us, Al kol neshima unshima tehalelka. Hashem, for every time I can breathe, I say thank you. How appropriate this saying of Chachamim yesterday. Every time I say thank you. Every breath I say thank you. Breathing today should not even be taken for granted. So with all these tools that have been put in front of us on a silver platter for us to see, for us to understand, for us to grasp, for us to internalize, this message is so clear. The timing is so perfect. Hashem is telling us, it is time for leaders to lead. And it is time for believers to believe. And it is time for families to rise. And it is time for us to become adult and responsible. Now everybody is responsible for their own self. No more, this one will read from me, this one will do from me, this one will do this one will do that. No, today you have to do. Hashem wants you to grow. Hashem wants your Haggadah. He wants to hear from you. He doesn't want to hear from nobody else, not from your son-in-law, not from your son, not from your brother-in-law, not from your grandfather, not from your grandmother, not from your cousin, not from your rabbi. He wants you. How powerful. What does that mean? That means he's expecting us to become leaders, to become greater and greater every day. This is our Pesach this year. A tremendous message. A tremendous calling from God to tell us, I love you. I care for you. I want you. I don't want anybody else. I don't want fake. I want the truth. I want your heart. I want your essence, the same soul that I gave you. This is who I want. Wake up. And today you have no reason. You have nothing to hide behind. It is time. It is time. The time has come. Rabotai, this is our Haggadah. This is our Pesach. This is the beginning of a true redemption, of a true Mashiach. Mashiach is when every one of us will wake up, will be strong, will be responsible, will be thriving to be better every single day. The starting point is on Wednesday night when each and every one of us will start the Seder. So my blessing to you all is that we take these words extremely seriously. We make sure that we are prepared, that we have everything that we need to make the Seder the most unbelievable Seder of our lives. Because it won't be a Seder, it will be your Seder. So Pesach, Kasher Sameach, and may Be'ezrat Hashem we all be blessed to see and feel and witness a pure and real redemption, the Geula Shelema B'mera B'yameinu, Amen ve'amen. I love you all tremendously, and I pray that my words and what I'm feeling and what I'm believing should vibrate inside of each and every one of you until we together welcome the Mashiach Be'ezrat Hashem. Chag Pesach Kasher v'Sameach. I love you all.